Okay, now we have part 2 of the Selena series. Let's get started. I got my notes here. Okay, so we start off with the band. They're playing Como La Flor. I know I said that shit wrong. Don't come for me, please. So we start this season off with the band playing at I believe it was at a bar or a concert. And they're playing Como La Flor. And fast forward to another scene. I believe the band was missing Chris because he was a really good guitarist. So we see Abraham talking to AB about letting Chris back on the band and stuff like that. So Chris gets... Wait, does he get invited back? Yeah, or do they get married? Oh my god, wait. Why did I put Chris gets invited back? I thought he gets invited back after they get married. Oh shit, I don't forgot. So we see Selena, she's being overworked, you know. I put that in my notes because she's just constantly singing and just focusing on music and not really living life. You know, so Selena gets fed up and she finally rebels. I was like, final fucking Lee, god damn. I'm like, girl, you was holding that thing in. I would have been rebelled. But she rebels, and her and Chris, they go down to the city hall and get married. Is it called City Hall in Texas? I don't know. Where they go to the courthouse and they get married. Yeah. Yeah, so they get married, and then oh yeah, I also put down the bodysuit that they had the actress wearing. It kind of looked weird. It didn't like fit her that well. I really wish that she would have, like, I think gained a little bit weight for the role, you know, and tanned up a little bit. But anywho, we see how they get married at the courthouse, and then we see some sneaky little bitch calls up the radio station and snitches on Selena and Chris, letting the radio station know that they got married and everything like that. And so that's how Abraham finds out how Chris and Selena got married, through the radio. And then, yeah, he gets upset and everything like that. And I believe Selena was hiding out from him for a couple of days or so until she was ready to confront him. So she decides to confront him, and they have like this little talk, and she was talking about how she knows that Chris would be a good man to her because she had a good example of how a good man should look like, which was her father, you know, stuff like that. And then I guess she finally brings Chris in, you know, to speak with the father and everything like that. And that settles that. Then we like get to a point, we got to a point where Selena and the band, they were like at a show being interviewed by this lady. I forgot her name. I should have took her name. But and the lady was asking if Chris had a girlfriend, and Selena told the lady that Chris doesn't understand Spanish, you know. And then the lady asked Selena, does she have a man, you know. And the reason why I brought this up is because Abraham told Selena not to tell the world yet. I mean, not to tell her fans, I believe. I don't know, but that don't make sense because people already knew they were married. But I guess Abraham told Selena not to acknowledge the marriage, you know, whenever they're like performing and stuff like that, because he didn't want Selena to upset her male audience because you know how they say how, especially if you're a woman in the music industry, how they want to make you look so available. They want men to want you and girls to be like you. So that was basically it. He was like trying to tell Selena. That didn't work because later on, we see them at a concert and they're getting ready to perform, and Selena is sick and tired of hiding the fact that Chris is her husband, you know. So she introduces Chris as her husband, and the audience starts booing her and everything like that. And then she makes a little joke about how she said that if she would have married one of the men in the audience, they wouldn't they wouldn't like being booed at, you know. So everybody starts laughing and stuff like that. That's another thing I liked about Selena's. Throughout this series, Selena, especially in the first part, I forgot to say this, she's very goofy. She's a goofy person, which I like. I like that she wasn't like, she didn't take herself seriously, you know. She was basically very like, just innocent and like fun to be around. But where we at now? Okay, so Suzette gets married, you know, and then we see her and Selena having this talk because Selena kind of feels upset that she didn't get to have a big wedding, you know. I was upset too, like, because she couldn't do it, you know, and her sister could, you know. It just wasn't fair. So we get to a scene where we see Yolanda at her house talking on the phone, and we see how she has a shrine of Selena. Like, she has Selena's posters all over her house, all over her room and everything like that. Is that true, or was the TV show just doing that for TV? But yeah, she was just obsessed with Selena. Like, she had she had like every picture of Selena all over her fucking house. And then that's when Yolanda starts working for Selena, because I guess they was talking on the phone about how she's ready to work for Selena and stuff like that. Okay, then we get to the year 1993. Selena is getting ready to cross over. Her record label is talking to her about like making an English album now, you know, and yeah, so she's excited, and she's also sad a bit because she's not really ready to leave the band behind, you know, because she's so used to performing with her family, and if she crosses over, she'll be by herself and stuff like that. So we move on to the scene where Selena gets pulled over by the police officer, and he noticed that she hasn't paid any of her tickets off for being pulled over. And Selena actually strikes a deal with him. And the deal was that if he doesn't take her in, she would give him a shout out, which she did. She was on some radio station and she gave him a shout out, and the police station, you know. So she got away, which was good. And then we see Selena getting ready to open up her boutique, you know. She's shopping, looking for bedazzles and whatnot. And then we move on to this infamous scene where we see Selena, she runs into Tina Knowles and Beyonce and Solange for a quick second, and we see Beyonce saying hi to Selena for a quick second, and I'm kind of glad they added that in there because it was pretty forthtelling. showing how Beyonce was gonna be a big star just like Selena, and how Selena was an inspiration to Beyonce, you know, so that was kind of cute that they added that in there. So we move on to the Grammys, and Selena wins Best Mexican Artist. I forgot for what song though, but anywho, come to find out, she actually met Whitney Houston and Gloria Estefan. I never knew, you know, like in the Selena movie, we didn't get to see that. We got to see her win the Grammy, but we didn't get to see what happened backstage. But in the series, you get to see what happens backstage. And she meets Whitney Houston and Gloria Estefan, and plenty of other stars that she looked up to. Then later on, we see Chris and Selena. They're having a little trouble in their marriage. I always felt like Chris, I don't know, he kind of came across like too laid back, kind of like Selena's lapdog, you know. He really didn't really have a backbone, you know. And I was like, dang, Chris, you need a backbone. Like, stand up for yourself, you know. Take charge or something. Take charge for a bit, you know. But later on, they do address that in the movie, and they worked everything out. I also gotta say that Selena's voice, it did not fit the actress. The actress, when she was lip singing to Selena's song, Selena's voice seemed more mature than how the actress looked. So you could kind of tell that it wasn't her voice, you know. But her lip singing was on point though. But you can like just kind of tell that that wasn't her voice. Move on to 1994. Selena's having her big fashion show for her boutique and everything like that. Oh yeah, before that, we get to see a little strife between Yolanda and some designer named Martin. I think that was his name. Yeah, how Martin actually was telling Selena that Yolanda was no good from the start, you know. But I believe Selena got so attached to Yolanda because Selena really didn't have any friends, you know. So she wasn't really paying that no mind, you know. I think she was just happy to have a friend, you know. We move on to Selena's having dinner with one of the music people, and she receives a letter, and the letter states that she's being sued for over $20,000 because things were not getting paid, you know, and her fans weren't receiving their gifts that they ordered and everything like that. And the fans like were calling her fake, were calling her a fraud and everything. We see, I believe Abraham had a conversation with Yolanda, and that didn't end too well. I believe it ended with him calling out Yolanda for stealing, you know, and Yolanda was basically just denying everything, and then he banned Yolanda from coming to Q Productions. I believe that was Selena's record label, her own or her father's. No, that was the studio. Yeah, that was the father banned Yolanda from coming to the studio and stuff like that, and we also see how Yolanda was also ignoring the father's phone calls too, because he was calling her to talk to her about missing money and everything like that, and Yolanda was just ignoring the phone calls. And then Abraham talks to Selena with Suzette, and they're basically trying to tell Selena that, look, this lady is stealing from you. She's no good. You gotta fire her and let her ass go. But Selena she doesn't want to listen, you know, and she's defending Yolanda, telling them that Yolanda would never do this, you know, that's her friend, and blase, blase, blase. we move on to the scene where Selena is playing her biggest concert, which is at the Astrodrome. And we see her performing, and she has on her infamous outfit that we know of the burgundy 70s inspired sparkly outfit, you know. So her and the band, they did their thing and everything like that. Suzette couldn't play because she injured her leg, you know, so she couldn't play with the band and everything like that. Then fast forward, we move to a scene where Selena and Suzette, they're having a little car conversation about how Suzette is ready to like leave the band and focus on building her family because she's married now and everything, and she really wants Selena to go out on her own and grow as an artist and everything like that. And then we see them pulling up to the house, and Selena's father was telling Selena to be on time to the studio because Selena always like ran on her own time, you know. And after that, we see Yolanda. She's constantly calling Selena after being fired. She wasn't really fired, but Abraham kind of like banned her, you know, because she didn't work under Abraham. She worked under Selena, so legally Selena has to fire her in order for her to like go. And so Selena didn't really like fire her yet. I guess it was hard for her to let her go, you know. So we see Selena at the table trying to do, I believe she was trying to do like her taxes. She was trying to gather up all of the sales from the boutique and stuff, and everything wasn't adding up. And then Yolanda calls her and tells Selena that she's been raped by some man, and how she needed to speak with Selena. And yeah, so it's now March 31st, 1995. Selena agrees to meet with Yolanda, and we see her. She wakes up in the morning and she gets dressed. She's feeding her dogs, and she takes Yolanda to the hospital. And she's speaking with the doctor, and the doctor's basically telling her that Yolanda's full of bullshit. You know, ain't nobody rape her ugly ass and everything like that. So Yolanda and Selena was heading to the car, and Selena was telling Yolanda that she's over her, you know, her stories is not adding up and everything like that. And she's basically Selena was just over it, you know. So she told Yolanda that we're gonna get to the hotel and you're gonna give me my papers and that's it, you know. So they get to the hotel, and Yolanda tells her that she has the paperwork inside the room. I don't know why Selena didn't just tell Yolanda to go and get them and bring it to her in the car, you know, instead of her having to leave with Yolanda. Oh, okay. Now that makes sense. Okay, she wanted to make sure she got all the paperwork so she won't have to deal with Yolanda again. Okay, that makes sense. I'm sorry, I'm talking to myself in my head. We see her, unfortunately, walking into the hotel room with with Yolanda, and that's where everything starts to get blurry. We see the workers working, and I kind of like how they did this scene. We didn't really get to go in and see what the conversation was actually like, you know, but we actually got to see how the room looked like, because they showed the cleaning lady cleaning another room above them, and I felt like that was like them showing us how the room looked like, just like us imagining the aftermath of the situation. Because the lady was cleaning up the room, and I felt like they were showing us that because maybe that's what happened after Selena got shot. You know, the cleaning people had to come in and clean up the whole room. So I don't know, I just like how they did that scene, you know. And then so we see the cleaning lady coming out the bathroom, and she's holding a trash can, and then she hears a loud gunshot, you know. I'm really glad they didn't show Selena actually running out of the room. I thought they was gonna show it because I'm like, oh dang, they actually took us like into the hotel and everything like that, but they didn't show it. And we get to the ambulance scene. They're rushing her to the hospital, and yeah, unfortunately Selena passes away. They didn't show the scene where Yolanda was like threatening to kill herself and stuff like that, like they did in the movie. But then we see how Abraham's assistant gets a phone call, and she screams and like tells Abraham that Selena's been shot. And so Abraham and AB get in the car and rush to the hospital. And like we just see like they're really upset and like panicking, you know. And we see Abraham hopping out the car and running to the hospital door, and the police officer stopping him, basically telling him that they're doing everything they can to save Selena and everything like that. But yeah, and that's when it ended. Later on, we get to see the fans paying tribute to Selena. We also see that they finally heard the recording of Dreaming of You, you know, which was really sad, because it got really sad when I saw her mom breaking down crying. You know, I always wonder like how is she doing, like how she feels, you know. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that was just heartbreaking. And after that, we move on to a scene where we see the band, and Selena is dressed in all white, and they're dancing and singing to Beady Beady Bom Bom. And yeah, and then at the end of the series, we see Suzette calls out Selena's name, and basically a freeze frame happened. She takes a picture of Selena, and then Selena just vanished into the dark, you know, which was pretty sad and everything like that. Oh my goodness. Every time when we get to that part, like, because we know it's going to happen, but like, it's like this story never gets old, because this story is such a cautionary tale to everybody. You got to be careful who you call friend. You know, that's why I don't call everybody friend. If you know me, I do not call anybody a friend until like I really, really know you. But yeah, like it's just sad and very tragic. That lady took her life for nothing, all because your ass was caught stealing and you couldn't move on. And another thing, Yolanda was a nurse. I'm like, wow, that tells you that anybody can be a killer. It don't matter if you're like a straight A student or a nurse or anything like that. Like anybody could just be a killer. Yolanda just took her life for nothing. I honestly believe Yolanda planned to kill Selena because she wanted to get back at the family, especially her father, for catching her stealing and everything like that. And I don't know, I just hope she doesn't get out of jail, because y'all know she's up for parole in 4 more years, right? I can't believe that bitch is still alive. I would figure by now somebody in that jail would have like killed her or something like that. But yeah, once 2025 comes, I'm gonna need all Selena's fans in Texas, black, Hispanic, white, Asian, all of y'all, take your asses down to whatever jail Yolanda's at and be ready to fight. Because if they let her out, y'all better start a war and y'all better whoop her ass. For real. Hell, I may even fly down there and whoop her ass. For real. But yeah, I honestly feel like Yolanda does not deserve to be out of jail or to live. That bitch needs to die in jail. And that's all I have to say. But I feel like the part 2 series, I thought it was pretty good. It did have some dull moments, but it did pick up at the end like I knew it would, because that's the most dramatic scene that we know that's gonna happen and everything like that. But yeah, that's it for my review on the Selena part 1 and part 2. I hope you like it. If you've seen it, let me know how you thought about it. And yeah, have a good day. Bye.